How's everyone doing? Hope everybody had a good week. It's been as I have been saying, it seems like things have been pretty busy recently. And real quick, before I talk for a minute, I'm going to check and make sure that Rumble actually has audio and video going pretty good. So let's check it out. Oh, need to refresh. Hope everybody has had a good week so far. I've been pretty decent. Been pretty decent. Um, had an interesting thing happen today. Let's see here. If you guys can hear me, and if you can hear and see me, give me a thumbs up in the chat. I think Rumble might be having some issues. Just checking real quick. All right, we're good. Good deal. All right. Well, if the video just started, hi, how y'all doing? Hope everybody has had a good week. It's been pretty eventful in general, internationally, nationally. We've got some fun topics to talk about today. It's probably not going to be as ranty today. I'm a little bit tired. I'm not going to lie, guys. I'm a little bit tired. But we'll see. We'll see. There we go. Thanks, Yanni Fangs. I appreciate you, bud. Oh, if you are so inclined to subscribe, I did get in and start. I started adding emojis to the channel, and I added some custom emojis or emotes for subscribers only. So that is one perk of being a subscriber. It's $5 a month if you want to support small creators. It also removes ads, so that's another positive thing for being a subscriber. If you guys are joining for the first time, thank you so much for joining. For those that are return watchers, seriously do appreciate y'all. My channel here is Bulldozer74. I'm the Bulldozer. I aim to inform and entertain with this. I am really passionate about things going on in the world. And, if I can help inform some people, if I can help entertain a little bit while doing so, that's great. So if you want to support small creators, that's something you can do. Like the stream, follow if you haven't followed already. Something great that you can do if you have not created a Rumble account yet. It takes just a few minutes. I was talking to a friend and they created their Rumble account the other day, and they got it done in like 5 or 10 minutes. It's not that big of a hassle, and it is worth it to show your support for the first free speech platform like Rumble. And while it might not be, free speech absolutist, it's one of the closest things that we've got to it. So I think it's worth it. I think it's worth supporting this type of platform. But anyways, I think we've got our pleasantries out of the way. We're going to be talking about some fun stuff today, guys. I cannot believe, and I apologize. I apologize to the Rainbow Mafia. What's up, Rakin? Thanks for joining, bud. Appreciate you, man. We're going to talk first about the wonderful month. It's Pride Month, guys. It's the Rainbow Month. Thank God. We're in Pride Month. If everyone's just feeling a little bit more gay, a little something in the atmosphere, a little bit of campiness in general, it's because it's June, guys. It's June. So we've got some Pride Month topics. First thing that we're going to talk about today, we're going to be talking about these hateful scooter gangs. Can't believe it, guys. It's just awful. It's just awful. We've got an article to look at. I think it was in Washington State, but there are multiple pride murals that have been painted on crosswalks and on roads. And guys, apparently if you're gay, you don't understand how tires work. Yeah, apparently if you're gay, you don't understand that sometimes when you put a mural on the road, it's going to get defaced. People might do burnouts. What's up, Temple's Game Music? um, it yeah, these pride murals, these rainbow flags, which the flag just keeps getting more and more complex, guys. Eventually, it's just going to be brown because eventually all the colors are just going to merge together, and it's going to be some like a grayish mauve. That's what I anticipate happening eventually. They're really mad. The gays are butthurt, guys. They're very butthurt about these murals. We're going to talk about some of the specifics, and we do have an article from, I believe, Scanner, I think is how you pronounce it, SCNR. I think that actually might have something to do with Tim Pool. Speaking of Tim Pool. So it looks like it's a decent article. I actually kind of just scanned through it. So we're going to read through that later. After we get done talking about the Rainbow Mafia, we're going to lead into Hunter Biden's guilty verdict. He was found guilty on all 3 charges. We're going to talk about some of the implications of that. We talked about it last stream. Yeah, that's right, Yanni Fangs. The gays' butts are hurt. We talked about the constitutional aspect of the charges that he was facing and how, on principle, really, I don't, as long as you're not using drugs while you've got the gun, I don't really care. And as long as you're not using them to commit other crimes, just because somebody uses an illicit substance, does that necessarily mean that their Second Amendment rights are just gone? No. I mean, shall not be infringed. But, like I said last stream, there's a lot that goes with that. And if you are a deviant, while you have those guns, well, eventually, yeah, your guns are going to be taken away. And eventually you are going to face consequences. And it looks like Hunter actually faced some consequences. We're going to talk a little bit more specifically about that, though, and whether or not it really means much of anything. After we get done talking about Hunter Biden's guilty verdicts, we are going to roll in to Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0. I know I could have put World War III in the title once again, but that's getting kind of old. But it is what it is. We are certainly in an international conflict, and we just have not labeled it as World War III yet. But if you look at it, and if you remove yourself, if you say you were 20, 30 years in the future, looking back at what's going on right now, if you were reading it in the history books, how similar would it be to the history books we read in school about World War II and World War I? It would be very similar. So I kind of think we just haven't caught up to it yet, and we actually haven't called it what it is. You've got multiple countries. You've got NATO, plus other ones going at it. You've got Russia and their friends going at it. And now we are in such a bad spot that we literally have, I think, a couple Russian vessels that have gone to Cuba and a nuclear sub. And I do believe that they have nuclear capable warheads that they're, I guess, doing some like war games or practice runs, something like that. It's not a good look. And it absolutely is a finger in the eye of the current administration. They don't take us seriously at all. They're going to step on our shoes and then say, do something about it. It's getting ridiculous. It's getting heated. Hopefully it doesn't escalate, but it just seems like that's what they want. It continues. The snowball is gathering girth. Hopefully it chills out. Speaking of horrible things, horrible events, we're going to talk a little bit about Certification Day 2021, also known as J6 or Jan 6. Pelosi had a tape come out recently, and we're going to watch that. Trump has claimed, and multiple people have backed up his claim, that he was going to send National Guard troops. And 10,000, I believe, is the number that he uses. And This little clip, this little tape, and by the way, if you didn't know, Pelosi had, I think it was her granddaughter or her daughter, following her around with a camera crew. Yeah, because that's completely organic, right? They just happened to have a camera crew with them for that. Not like they expected things to pop off or anything, huh? Not like they expected it. Well, we'll get into it. I might get a little bit heated on that one. I'm actually waking up a little bit, so that's good. Thought I was going to be dragging today, but man, it's getting my rant uh, rumblings going. After we get done talking about all the serious stuff, we have it's not really lighthearted, but it's a good thing. It's ending on a all right. There's going to be a flavor. There's going to be part of it where it's talking about corruption, where we'll be talking about corruption, and then we're going to talk about the white pill aspect of what we're seeing. We're going to talk about the young thug trial, and I haven't been following that. I have no clue if he's guilty or not. But his defense attorney, Brian Steele, is an absolute freaking Chad of a man to face down a judge and not bend. Did not bend, did not break. yeah. Any things you can feel it. The rant meter is rising. I need to get a graphic. That would be good. Just have a little graphic like off to the side here, and like as I'm starting to get there, it slowly starts to rise. That would be a cool little thing. I need to figure out how to do stuff like that. I am a complete amateur at this, guys, but I am having a good time, and I hope everybody else is having a good time too. The last video that I did, the last stream, it's got over 8,000 views. I'm not sure how that happened, but to the people that are watching, I appreciate you. Hopefully you're getting something out of it. Hopefully you're enjoying it. I know I get something out of it, if not just the cathartic release of getting some of this stuff out. Talking with you guys in the chat, I love interacting with you guys. It's a good time. So yeah, 8,440 something views, I think, on the last live stream. We'll see if it keeps going. So if at some point, I'm not gonna lie, if at some point I can make this my side hustle and not go and deliver DoorDash, I will be a happy fella, because this is a lot more fun than delivering DoorDash. It gets old, especially in certain areas around here where people don't like to tip. And if you don't know, people that deliver DoorDash, you don't make very much doing it if somebody doesn't tip you. You get like $2 per order, unless you're doing the earn by time, and then that's, it kind of goes into it. But anyways, our last story, the feel good story, it's going to have an air of talking about the corruption in the judicial system, but also the white pill aspect of it. So let's go ahead and roll into the happiest month, the gayest month. The Rainbow Mafia owns this month, apparently. And I thought I saw somewhere at some point that June was also Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. Have y'all ever heard that? I could have sworn that I heard that the other day, that June was actually before it was Pride Month, it was Men's Mental Health Awareness Month. And just how crazy is it that Men's Mental Health Month, if it is indeed the case, takes a back seat to what often presents itself as just straight up degeneracy. I am an independent / libertarian, little L, because my God, the big L little libertarian party. Chase Oliver? Are you serious? That's your guy? That's the guy that you guys pick. I mean, fitting that we're talking about him with this topic. It's his month, I guess. You don't own a month, gays. You don't own a month. It's not yours. And the rainbow ain't yours either. It's biblical, damn it. It often presents as just straight up deviancy and degeneracy. Used to be, it was just people, normal gays. The normal gays. Where have the normal gays gone? Where are all the normal, decent gays at? Why are the ones that are just straight up fetishists the one in these parades? I don't understand why people are walking their partners in hoods, the dog masks. Why? Why is that a thing? Why are you wearing bondage gear? It's not uniquely for the gays. Straight people can be into that too. that's your thing. I don't care. If you're gay, I don't care. Just don't put it in other people's faces. Don't shove it down other people's throats. I saw a little clip of a young man. Well, he was a boy. He was probably like 10 or 12. Um, Not sure where it was, but he walked up to the parade, one of the floats, and he grabbed one of the flags. And when he grabbed it, he looked at it, threw it on the ground, and stomped on it. I'm like, the next generation coming up, guys, the next generation coming up, there, it is inherent with youthful individuals that they are going to buck authority, that they're going to buck the narratives. Okay. So when the establishment, when the authority figures are saying, you must do this, you must do this, you must follow this, you must be on this, they're going to rebel. And I've talked about the pendulum swing. If you look back in Weimar with the whole Weimar Germany thing, things were getting so degenerate and disgusting, and you ended up with the Yahtzees. All right? You ended up with the Yahtzees. I don't want that to happen. I don't. I really don't. I don't want it to be a situation where women have to cover their tops of their heads because it's an affront to God if they have their tops of their heads are covered or their hair showing. I don't want that to be law. If that's something that you want to do, that's great. That's fine. But I don't want it to be the law. And that's where, sadly, I think we could end up heading. I don't know. Hopefully it doesn't. Hopefully we just end up with a bunch of people that are just kind of like, hey, you do what you want, but also screw you making me do what you want me to do. I'm not going to do what you want me to do. That's what we need to get back to. But anyways, let's talk a little bit about this. These pride murals that are painted on the roads. I do not understand how you are surprised. I mean, surprised Pikachu face at, oh God, tire marks. We have tire marks on the roads. We have tire marks on our beautiful flag. Your flag's ugly as hell. When it was just the rainbow. What's up, Cool Frog? Thanks for joining, bud. Appreciate you, man. But it's the flag has just, it's gotten more and more stuff on it. And like I said, I think eventually the flag is going to end up turning into like a mixture of colors. Just to be like, oh, everybody. It's like the South Park episode with the goo backs. They're all just kind of like a mulatto kind of color. I think eventually the flag is going to turn into that, just to be completely unifying and representative of everybody. That's when you. I don't understand how. Why is black and brown? Why does that need to be on the pride flag? Why? That has nothing to do with sexuality. I mean, I guess you could talk to P. Diddy about it, but. P. Diddler. I don't, it does not make sense. There's no logic behind this. If it's just the sexual orientation thing, then why do black and brown need to be on there? It's very confusing. Very confusing. I get it, the representation thing, but it doesn't really make much sense to me. Let's go ahead and get into this first article. These kids, well, I say kids, but I think one of them was like 19. So they're older teens, and they were on scooters, and they, I guess, decided to eventually saying to land. Eventually, it looks like when you take the chevron, the little triangle part that they have the flag, and you position them in the right ways, it looks just like a swastika. That's mighty convenient. And that's odd. I was talking about the whole Weimar thing in Germany, and with these flags, when you position them in the right way, you get the swastika. Just a little bit ironic, don't you think? It's a good 90s chick song. I blame my mother for the fact that I know all those words. But something that we might do a couple times today is read a couple ads. Before we get into this story, you know what? I see I've got one available for $17.75 coffee. Let's go ahead and do that real quick. I'll get it out the way, and then we'll continue with the rest of the stream. All right, y'all? Appreciate you guys' patience with this. Going to accept that. All right. So, guys, we need to be aware of what's going on. We need to be alert. And what better way to be alert than to just dose yourself with caffeine? One of the best ways you can do that is with $17.75 coffee. All right, it's time to say goodbye to Starbucks and say hello to Rumble's $17.75 coffee. Unlike other brands, this is a coffee that backs free speech. and is unapologetic about it. Yeah, I'm going to say what I want. Get over it. And I'm going to sip on this delicious coffee. I have not actually tried the coffee yet. I've heard it's delicious. And maybe one of these times I'll actually order some. But visit 1775coffee.com. Use the promo code Studio40 to get 40% off any coffee subscription. The coffee comes in medium and dark roasts. It also comes in pea berry, which is similar to Kona coffee. In other words, this stuff is premium. It's the best. It's the best coffee. And you know what? There's other coffees, but they just don't do it. They just don't do it, y'all. So click the link in the live chat or the description, and I will be putting that in the subscription in the description this time. Can't forget that. So click the link in the live chat or the description. You can also go directly to 1775coffee.com and use the promo code Studio40 to get 40% off today. I've heard it's really good coffee. I know Viva Fry talks about it. He says it's delicious. So I can't vouch for it because I haven't tried it yet, but I have no reason to believe that they're lying to me. And I trust Viva. And if you trust Viva, I mean, it's good coffee. Might be worth actually taking a look at. And you can get a good deal on it with that 40% off. So use that promo code Studio40 and get you some Freedom Coffee. All right, guys. Now that that's out of the way, let's go ahead and get into this first story. We are going to talk about the Washington teens they are facing up to 10 years, guys. 10 years in prison for leaving skid marks on the Rainbow Road mural with scooters. These scooter hate gangs. Got to do something about them. We got to do something about these scooter hate gangs, y'all. Historical monuments, you can deface those all day. You can tear them down. You can rip them down. You can shoot them. You can blow them up. That's fine. That's fine. But you dare leave a tire track on a rainbow mural? Nah. Can't be doing that. Can't be leaving a tire track there. Thanks, Cool Frog. Appreciate you, man. Was Civets? What? Oh my gosh. So they're facing up to 10 years. I am stunned. I'm utterly stunned that they are looking at something like 10 years for leaving tire tracks. If you guys, I mean, y'all have probably spun your tires out before. Even if you have a front wheel drive, you can do a little burnout if you know how to do it. It's not that hard. But the fact that they're trying to get these guys and they're actually making a big deal out of it is insane. Let's go ahead and share my screen here. Do a little presentation here. So this was Washington teens. There we go. Oh, look at that. Missouri for Trump. Oh, God, it knows where I'm at. So we're going to go ahead and... Cats. Oh, the cats, yes. Let's see. So let's go ahead and start this. Washington teens face 10 years in prison for leaving skid marks on LGBTQ Rainbow Road mural with scooters. It is a felony to deface a public symbol of pride in Washington state. I wonder what else would be considered a felony to deface in public. Yeah, we're talking about the specifics when it comes to coffee. I won't mention that right now. But you guys, you go ahead. You talk all about it that you want in the chat. So 3 Washington teenagers are facing up to 10 years in prison for leaving scooter skid marks on an LGBTQ rainbow mural painted in the middle of the road in Spokane, Washington. Ruslan V. Turco, 19, and 2 unnamed minors were arrested and charged with first-degree malicious mischief on Wednesday for leaving marks in the street. On Wednesday, people who witnessed the teens riding their scooters on the mural called 911 to report it. Are you serious? Are you serious? They called 911 because people left skid marks. You pussies. Utter pussies. Good God. You guys are like the snowflake. You guys are you're like the, I was going to think of something like a shaved ice with multiple different flavors, but you're snowflakes. That's kind of what I was going with that. I don't know where I was going with that. Let's get back to this article. So Kaylee Gaines McGee, a witness sitting at O'Doherty's Irish Grill, allegedly saw the malicious scooter riding. She told local station KREM that she believed that the teens were intentionally trying to deface the street mural. We see that you have done this thing, and McGee told the station, people don't just go and do that without intention. You don't destroy symbols without intention behind it. Interesting thing that I read about this mural, apparently it was all skidded up and dirty and out of sorts anyways and needed to be repainted anyways. So God forbid somebody actually intentionally maybe put a skid mark there. Hmm. Hmm. Yeah, it'll be interesting, Cool Frog. It'll be interesting to see what type of ruling that we end up having from this. With it being in Washington, I don't know. Much less likely to do well in like I guess Oregon, but Washington I don't think is I think Washington's fairly liberal, isn't it, as a state? I'm not 100% sure, but we'll see. I can't believe they're going to actually bring the charges. It's just crazy to me. Um, So the teens appeared in court on Thursday. Prosecutors requested a $15,000 bond that would cover the approximate cost of repainting them. Are you shitting me? $15,000 for to paint the mural when it already needed to be repainted? No, absolutely not. That defense, whoever their defense team is, better freaking hit hard on that. The fact that this mural was already in a poor state before they left their skid marks. Hmm? Dude, Demon's Wrath. Thanks for joining, bud. Glad you're here. First time. Is it one of the first times you caught me live? I think it might be. But hey, man, appreciate you joining. All right. So, the teen was later released on his own recognizance on the condition that he does not return to the crosswalk or the other suspects. The Daily Mail reports. Under legislation signed into law by Jay Inslee. Oh, yeah, Jay Inslee. Defacement of public property may fall under the state's hate crime laws. Oh, my. No. There's no. Brief tangent. There's no such thing as a hate crime. There's crime. You don't need another modifier behind it, okay? You don't need the hate part. Crime is crime. The act of committing the crime could be considered hateful in itself. Just because it happens to be associated with a certain group doesn't make it any more vicious, in my opinion. So, yeah, that's a good point. Paint does make the road slick anyway. Shouldn't be near an intersection. Think about that. What if these people were just, they came to a full stop and then they took off and the paint was on there? I know people were sharing the video of the person with a paint roller, and it doesn't look like there's paint on the paint roller. Um, I guess it could be clear coat. I guess they could be sealing it, maybe. I don't know. I listened really close to the video to see if I could hear like the paint roller, like if it was wet. So I don't know if there was actually the dude was just doing it for the photo op or if he was actually putting some sealer on there. So, hmm that's a good point. Yanni Fangs just hit a great point right there. So this is what happens when these lowlifes don't have legitimate income. Make you pay for their agenda. Yeah, yeah, that's about right, man. That is about right. So the updated law went into effect Thursday, June 6th. Are you kidding me? That close to when this happened, that law went into effect? Seriously? Not okay. Meaning it is a felony to deface a public symbol of pride in Washington state. It's a religion now. It's a religion. And I saw one of the Krasensteins had compared doing burnouts on a pride mural on the road to defacing a church or taking a crucifix and, doing horrible things to it. So you're going ahead and just saying what it is. You've created a new religion. And they get so when you and not going to get preachy here, but just a brief little point here. When you remove God, when you remove any spirituality, any sense of higher power, eventually humans tend to make themselves the higher power. One of the clips I saw recently was like a trans gathering. I heard 41% of them didn't make it home, but they were talking about the divinity of being trans. No, there's no divinity to that. You're mentally ill. With the trans, there are very few people with actual gender dysphoria. And those people, if you want to live, if you want to dress like the other one, I don't care. Don't expect anyone to be forced to accept what you're doing, though. You don't get that right. You don't get that right to force people to call you by your preferred pronouns. One of the craziest things I see is in email sign-offs and in a professional level. People are starting to put their pronouns in there. I won't do it. I will never put my pronouns in my sign-off or in my bio. Okay? Unless I'm being facetious and doing beep boop like Gina Carano did. Then maybe. But even then, no. I'm not participating in your delusional farce. Okay? I'm not letting a tiny, tiny percentage of the population, and it's also a tiny percentage of the rainbow population, the rainbow mafia. The T's are very, very small, but they're very loud, and they're a clear example of the squeaky wheel gets the grease. Slippery Slope has Temple's gay music. It is so freaking hard. It is so hard not to like. I don't care if people live the way they want to live. I don't. But when you start trying to force it down other people's throats and when you try to put it on kids, that's when you're going to get people responding in, let's say, bigot like ways. For instance, here's a phrase that I used to hate. I used to hate this phrase. I used to think it was one of the most bigoted things you could say about gays, about gay folks. And it doesn't apply to all of them. But here's the thing. They can't reproduce, so they recruit. I used to think that was horrifically hateful to say that. But all the evidence indicates that that is absolutely 100% true. They can't make new ones. They can't reproduce. Well, you could get surrogates and stuff like that, but with their own devices. They can't reproduce, so they recruit. That's why you've got a lot of them in public schools, and you've got why do the drag queens have to be in drag for the story hour? You can go do drag. That's fine. That's absolutely fine. Go do drag. Have a great time. Dress like a girl and call yourself Sally. You don't have to do the drag stuff around the kids. If you want to be somebody who happens to be gay or happens to do drag on the weekends and you want to go read a story to kids, that's cool. Go read a story to kids. Do you have to be dressed up like a freaking whore? I mean, that's what you're doing. You're the caricature of a woman. It's very similar to the minstrel shows. All right, with the whole mammy stuff, very, very similar to that. I don't see how people don't make that connection, but yeah, yep. Not sure what phrase that was. What phrase was that? Temple's gay music. Did I say something particularly enlightening? Anyways, all right. My rant meter. I'm gonna get it eventually. I'm gonna have it like right here, right, hiding my wife's makeup stand thing. Yeah. All right, let's continue with this article. It's Pride Month, guys. Happy Pride. Happy Pride. I don't know if I'm happy about it. All right, so Lime, the company that makes the rentable e-scooters. Oh, so these were just the ones that you rent like in the cities and you can just pay for a certain amount and drive them around. So Lime, the company that makes the rentable e-scooters, issued a statement saying it is instituting a no-ride zone around the mural. My God. Look to the people that you can't make fun of, and that's where the power is. Look to the people you can't make fun of, and that's where the control, that's where the power is. Right now, they're the ones controlling things. I'm not sure why, other than we have a bunch of malicious individuals that latched on to a very passionate group, and they use the hell out of them. They use the hell out of the trans folks, guys, and the rainbow community. They're using the hell out of you. I've got some of my best friends are gay. Okay. And I'm not just saying that. I know that's the stereotypical cliche thing to say, but literally one of my best friends, I've got family that is in the rainbow crew. And, oh yeah, the recruit phrase. Yeah. It there are normal gays, and then there are these insane ones that get all the attention. The normal gays are off to the side doing their own thing, and they're just living life. They're just living life, guys. Most of them are live and let live and doing their own thing. But when you see all these fetishists in the parades, I don't understand why they're bringing fetishes into pride. I don't get that. That is not where it's supposed to be. Keep your fetish behind closed doors, okay? Simple. You want to dress in a fursuit and hump somebody? Do it in your private. You don't need to do it in front of everybody else. You want to dress in the hood thing? You want to wear bondage gear? Do it in private. You don't need to do it in the street. Why can't you just be normal? Like, you say that you want equality and you want to be treated like everybody else. Well, then act like it. Stop acting like a damn freak. And you won't end up with a visceral response from normal folks. All right? I don't want to see the pendulum swing so hard to the right that it ends up being illegal to be gay. I don't. I don't want people getting thrown off roofs like in the Middle East. These queers for Palestine. Ooh. Poofs for Palestine. You guys are woefully ignorant. Woefully. Yeah. Yeah, it's a militant group for sure. What's up, Robert Paul Perez? I think it's the first time I've seen you in chat. Appreciate you joining, bud. All right, so all right. Lime has oh God, they made a whole paragraph of the statement. Oh, they're gonna grovel. They're gonna grovel. Speaking of kiss the ring, man. Yeah, they're gonna kiss the ring. All of us at Lime condemn these vile acts, and in no uncertain terms, the company said, at a time when our teams at Lime are beginning pride celebrations around the globe, it is disturbing to see the hate taking place in Spokane. These skid marks, so hateful. Lime is taking immediate action against the perpetrators and doubling down on our support of Spokane pride and Spokane arts. Lime is proud to put time and resources into celebrating Pride Month each year and supporting LGBTQ plus organizations working to uplift and protect queer people in cities around the world. We will not let the hateful few spoil the joy of Pride Month in Spokane and are grateful for those working to make Spokane more welcoming for all. What's up, Castro? Thanks for joining, man. If you guys are just joining this channel, or well, it's the account. I went and tried to make a different channel because it said I couldn't use emotes. Speaking of, if you're just joining, there are emotes now. I added some emotes to the channel, and if you want to subscribe, it's $5 a month to subscribe to the channel. Help a small-time creator out. Maybe make it so at a certain point I don't have to do DoorDash on the side. That's the dream, guys. Not doing DoorDash. But anyways, there are a couple perks with subscribing. No ads when you watch my streams or videos. So you can go back through my whole catalog and no ads. And you get the chance for custom emotes. So I've got some general channel emotes, and then I have custom ones. At least I tried to set it up that way so that you get access to throw some of those out. And I'll get some spicier ones. I just was briefly kind of going through and trying to find some emotes, and it was kind of wonky trying to get it set up. I spent 20, 30 minutes tinkering with it earlier. And I do want to go ahead and get my locals community up and going. I am not sure why it's not connected. My Rumble account isn't connected to my locals. But I'm going to, if I can't get it figured out on my own, I'm going to contact somebody and try to get that figured out as to why my Rumble isn't streaming to locals as well, and why I can't select that. It's kind of grayed out when I try to do that. So that'll be another perk. I believe that when you subscribe on Rumble, you get access to the supporter only content on locals as well. So that is something that I am going to work on developing with the numbers that I'm seeing right now, guys. First of all, again, thank you guys so much for watching. Even if you're not watching live, if you're coming back and watching this at another point, I really appreciate you guys. I really hope you're getting something out of it. And with the last stream getting, nearly 8,500 views, I'm glad to see that people are apparently liking what I'm putting out there. So, but yeah, subscribing is definitely a small way that you can help out your small time creators, and you get a few little perks for it. Don't forget to like the stream, guys. Smash the like button or tap it, gently caress it, give a little peck. Whatever you want. I'm not judging. Hey, it's Pride Month. You do what you want with that like button, okay? Have fun with it, or keep it serious. Whatever floats your boat. But yeah. And if you haven't created a Rumble account yet, I know a lot of people watching. So if you haven't created a Rumble account, it takes just a couple minutes. It's not that hard. It is not going to hurt you, and it is a good way to demonstrate that you do support a free speech platform. Not perfect. No platform is perfect, but Rumble's the best one we've got so far, in my opinion, is when it comes to free speech and when it comes to being less censorious in its approach to their creators. And they support small creators like me, with those little ad reads and stuff like that. It may be $2 or $3, per stream, but that's better than nothing. That's something. And honestly, like I've said before, this is a little side thing that I like to do. I like interacting with you guys in chat. I like talking about these topics. I've been engaged in stuff for years, so I like talking about these things with y'all. All right, so the mural was recently repaired after people dumped a flammable liquid on it and lit it on fire in May. Okay, so gosh darn, somebody went hard in May on this thing. Looks like, grape drink, first one. Apparently Kylie Gaines McGee is interesting. I think Cool Frog was talking about Kaylee earlier. So it looks like the mom might be mad at her or something like that. Yeah, that tends to be the case. Oh, here we go. There it is. Smash it, guys. Smash it harder. Only if you're a bigot. Yeah. Just identify as a bigot for a few minutes to smash that like button. It's okay. So I think the fact that these kids, at least the one, I think he's 19. I think the other ones are younger. I think that's why it mentioned his name, but it didn't mention the others. So I'm guessing they are probably going to try to throw the book at this kid. That they already went for the $15,000, which if it's a bond, I think you only have to get 10% of that, or something like that. Depends on the state, I suppose. They shouldn't be facing anything other than hey, don't do that again. That should be it. Hey, y'all, this mischief. Literally, they called it malicious mischief. I don't know about y'all, but I grew up in some kind of, I'm a rural guy. I'm a country guy. People spin out and burn out on the roads all the time, and nobody's getting locked up for it. You might end up getting pulled over and getting a ticket, but you ain't getting locked up for this. Look at who you can't criticize. Look at who you can't make fun of. That's where the power lies. It's clearly where the power lies for them. Excuse me. Tinkering with some stuff here on. Nah, never mind. I was going to tinker with some stuff off to the side with the Rumble Studio, but Pride Month. Happy Pride Month, guys. Keep your wits about you. If you're gay, I don't care. Just don't force it down other people's throats. Don't expect people to cater to you because of what you like to put in your orifices. Orifices? Orifice? I don't know. Just nobody cares. And if you want to be treated normally, then stop acting like it's a big deal. Do you need a parade to shout what type of genitals you like? No, you don't. Just be gay. That's it. Done. Don't need any more. There. Speaking of the gays, well, I guess based on all the evidence, he's probably not even close to being gay. Hunter Biden was found guilty recently. Hunter Biden did indeed lie on the background check form, on the federal form to apply to get a weapon. He said he was not an unlawful user or addict of illicit substances. That was a lie. Or if it's maybe. Oh, the Hunter is he's been found guilty. And like I said last stream, do I really think that constitutionally this case should have even been brought? Probably not. No. There are caveats in the, I guess, I think, I don't want to say for sure that I know this, but I think in the Constitution there are caveats for those who are degenerate or deviant to a certain extent. madmen, I think is maybe how it might be phrased in the Constitution. Again, I don't know for sure, so I don't want to say that I do know for sure. But there are exceptions for those who would be a danger to society or themselves. Some people don't. Some people don't need to have guns. People who are severely mentally ill, like hurting, have demonstrated they hurt others because of the mental illness and don't take care of it, like certain, schizos, stuff like that. Um, yeah. Yep. NFA needs to go. Shall not be infringed. That's where I tend to be on the Second Amendment. But there do need to be some instances with certain individuals that it might not be the best idea for them to have guns, honestly. Hunter did technically break the law, and he has to be held accountable. If everybody else is being held accountable for it, why isn't he? So I was listening to a jury, a jury member talk about the case, and he was very empathetic, but he also was very factual, and I was kind of surprised by that. Based on the jury selection, from what I read, it sounded like it might be one of the best things for Hunter. Thought he was going to get. I honestly thought he was going to get off. Thought they were going to probably do some jury nullification. That's what I thought. But no, they found him guilty on all of them. Be careful. Do not fall into the trap of being like cheering for this and everything, because what they're going to do is, and they probably already are, they're going to use this to say, oh, look, the Department of Justice is fair. It is even-handed, because look, we went after the president's son too. The thing is, he actually broke the law. Trump didn't do anything illegal. Like with the case where you had 34 felonies, it's literally bookkeeping, multiple bookkeeping entries, and they charged for a felony each time. It was a case that Bragg initially wouldn't pick up because he thought it was a crap case. All right. That's a good point, Demon's Wrath. So apparently Hunter has a Beretta PX4 Storm, whatever else he's guilty of. At least he's got taste. Fair enough. I've got my little my High Point 9mm. It's not just a paperweight. It actually is a decent little gun. I know a lot of people talk stuff. A lot of people talk stuff on High Points. It's the first handgun I bought, and it's just my everyday carry. It's a chunk, but it's a solid little gun, and I'm a stout fella, so it's fine with me. But let's see. There we go. Yeah, mine wasn't expensive. It was already used. One thing I need to get better at is actually cleaning my weapons. It's one thing I need to get better at. I've got all the stuff. It's just actually doing it. So Hunter is technically guilty, and do not get don't go crowing about this, because they're going to use it to say that they're fair. They're going to use it to say that they're unbiased. Biden's already said that he's not going to pardon him and he's not going to commute his sentence. Now, we don't know what sentencing is going to look like. We don't know if I'm not sure if the jury has any role in the sentencing, or if it's just the judge. I think he's facing on 2 charges 10 years, so he's facing up to 25 years. One charge 10, another charge 10, and then the other one was 5. So he's looking at up to 25 years in prison for this offense. Do I think he's going to spend a day in prison? Nope. I really don't. I don't think he's going to spend a day in prison. And it's unfair to the other people, the little folks, right? I'm not talking about midgets. I'm talking about the normal folks, the regular citizens that have been screwed by the judicial system, in reference to this topic in particular. And I think part of me wanted to say, you know what, a really good gesture by Trump would be to be like, hey, you know what? We'll see where he's at whenever I come take office, and I'll commute his sentence. Part of me wanted to be like, you know what, that would be a really good gesture. But this guy needs to be held accountable. I honestly, I could give 2 shits less. Could not care less, honestly, about his drug charge, the drug and gun charge. What I'm more concerned about with Hunter is the underage girls. What I'm more concerned about is the money laundering. What I'm more concerned about is the corruption with Ukraine and his father, Papa Joe. All right? Yeah. Fulton, you son of a bitch. No. My brother actually liked my High Point 9 so much. My little brother, because he had always heard stuff about high points too. My little brother liked it so much that he got himself a 10. And that's a girthy weapon. And we're 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 stocky fellas, but we're short and scrawny. So we've got, like, sausage fingers. And he's sitting there holding it. He's like, man, it's a little bit big for my hand. I'm like, yeah, that's what she's, well. Anyways, yeah, we've got a quick little thing from Fox News, and I don't like Fox News. They're just as corporate as the others. But let's go ahead and share this real quick. Make sure I've got. And if you can hear a dog barking outside, I apologize. Like I said, I live out in the country, and some people don't really keep their dogs up. So, all right. Let me see here. I do not want to destroy y'all's eardrums, so I'm going to get that going. Let's go ahead and listen to, I think it's Jonathan Turley.
Convicted felon Hunter Biden faces 9 charges in California in a federal tax fraud trial. It begins on September 5th, if his attorneys fail to get that delayed. President Biden went to Delaware last night to see Hunter. The New York Post cover shows the two hugging with the headline, "First Felon." Joe Biden with this statement after the verdict: "I will accept the outcome of this case and will continue to respect the judicial process as Hunter considers an appeal." Biden said last week that he would not pardon his son. One of the jurors talked with Fox.
You can't help but take some of these things as a factor, you look at it, and then at some point where you just got to turn away, and focus more on what the defense is saying, what the prosecution saying. Nobody's above the law, no matter who you are. So that did not play a factor in my decision. It was not politically motivated. Politics played no part in this whatsoever.
Nobody's above the law. Remember, the last time we heard that was from President Biden 2 Fridays ago. Special counsel David Weiss also talked after the verdict.
I forgot what this anchor's name is, but I love this anchor. She's great. She gets sassy.
This case was about the illegal choices defendant made while in the throes of addiction, his choice to lie on a government form when he bought a gun, and the choice to then possess that gun. It was these choices and the combination of guns and drugs that made his conduct dangerous. No one in this country is above the law. Everyone must be accountable for their actions, even this defendant.
Hunter Biden's attorney says they will pursue all legal challenges, which likely would include an appeal. A sentencing date has not yet been set. Welcome, Jonathan Turley, Fox News contributor, constitutional law attorney, and George Washington University law professor. Jonathan, great to see you. You and I were together. We had a bunch of people on the screen. We were talking about this when this happened. A few hours have passed since then. Your top thought?
Well, what's fascinating about the decision to go forward with the trial is that it put at risk the chance that Hunter Biden could very well be sentenced to jail. I've said all along that I believe that there is a real possibility here of a prison sentence. The best shot he had to reduce that likelihood was to plead guilty, which is why all the way up to the beginning of this trial, I was writing, you need to plead guilty. I mean, this is a lead pipe cinch of a case. You can get a 2-level departure, as it's called, to plead guilty, and that would make it easier for the court to give you probation. He decided to put on a nullification defense, and it failed. But he then lost that departure. And so the judge is going to be in a tough position here. She has sentenced people to jail for this offense.
Let's talk about the judge for just a second and previous cases like this. You might find a situation where you're a first-time offender. The charges are stacked against you. You didn't take the plea deal, blah, 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 however sweetheart it was. But one of the main factors in this from our
sweetheart, that's a good way to phrase it there. Literally, it was going to make it so that any of the other crimes that he's committed, he wouldn't be able to be charged with. That's what that plea deal said. The plea deal that the judge initially saw But he would have been better off, like Turley's saying here. He would have been better off if he just would have taken the plea deal. But he didn't. Because she pointed out that it was ridiculous that essentially he was getting a preemptive pardon. That's what Hunter Biden was looking at with his plea deal. He was looking at a preemptive pardon for all the other crap that he's done, which he has done quite a bit. Like I said, I honestly care way more about the other stuff that he's most likely guilty of.
Our coverage yesterday, as this was breaking, came from Judge Jeanine Pirro. She said, if he had pled guilty, you get points for that in the judge's mind in the scope of what happens with sentencing. Was it bad judgment? Was it up to him? I mean, what happens behind the scenes when you have a shot to not face a trial?
Well, there are reports out today that many of the Biden family believed that a Delaware jury would not convict Hunter Biden. This is, after all, Bidentown. This is their hometown. This is the son of the favorite son of Delaware. And so I think that there were some people in the family that were shocked by the quick verdict. In my view, this was not worth the risk because this is not someone that defense counsel is going to want to see given a prison stint. But the best way to avoid that is to plead guilty, get those points with the judge. Remember, this judge watched that sweetheart deal fall apart in her courtroom. She triggered it. She simply asked the prosecutor, have you ever seen a deal like this? And he said no. And the whole thing just burst into flames. And then she sat there and watched them put on an obvious nullification defense, trying to get the jury just to ignore the evidence. None of that's going to play well with the judge in determining whether to sentence Hunter to jail. And the guidelines under the federal sentencing guidelines suggest that such a sentence is warranted. Now, they're discretionary. The judge doesn't have to follow them. But none of that helps when it comes to that decision by the judge.
And now that the jurors are talking, we're getting some real insight on no one is above the law, for example, what things mattered and what things didn't. Those shiny objects known as family members in the courtroom gave their love and their support, and that is a blessing, but they're not evidence.
Jill was flying back from Europe to be present for this degenerate's hearings for his case. It was an intimidation tactic. It wasn't a support tactic. It was, hey, this is who you're messing with. That's what that was for. So hope the jurors stay safe. Thank you guys for joining. See, we're up to 24 people watching right now. Thank you guys so much. I appreciate y'all. If you don't have an account, doesn't hurt to create a Rumble account. And if you could like and follow, that would be awesome as well. Thank you so much.
We heard the prosecution say, yeah, I mean, none of it worked, as you said. Manhattan District Attorney Alvin Bragg here in New York and prosecutor Matthew Colangelo have both agreed to publicly testify before the House Judiciary Committee next month. And the hearing is set on July 12th, one day after former President Trump faces sentencing for those 34 charges in his New York criminal trial. House Judiciary Chairman Jim Jordan says, and this is a quote, "This hearing will examine actions by state and local prosecutors to engage politically motivated prosecutions of federal officials." What do you make of this? And what could we get out of it? People are kind of becoming numb to Congress's hearings. Is this one going to deliver something that we might not think of?
Well, these hearings have a habit of turning into sort of a primal scream session between the two parties. And there's a fear that that's going to happen here. Look, you're not going to have a Perry Mason moment. You're not going to have Colangelo saying, I was dispatched to dispatch Trump, or Bragg to say, yeah, I know that there wasn't a crime here, but I'm elected and I had to do something. None of that's going to happen. They're going to deny having any direction. And by the way, you didn't need to have direction in this case. The politics for Bragg were all too obvious. He threw a flag on this case. His predecessor stopped the case going forward. So Bragg had already expressed his skepticism, and then his lead prosecutor resigned, wrote, in my view, an unethical book while this case was still pending to pressure him, and it worked, and he caved. Is he going to fess up to all that? Of course not. He's going to say, as the jury found, there was a real crime here. So we're going to have to wait for the appellate process. Trump is going to have a hard initial time, I expect, in this Trump system. Mm-hmm. It has not garnered a lot of faith for many of us. But I think ultimately it'd be hard for this verdict to be sustained through state and federal appeals.
Well, thank you for breaking that down. I think people will want to hear from these people because even in other blue cities, you see district attorneys like them making some similar type decisions and soft on crime that Alvin Bragg is so known for. So we'll cover it. Absolutely. Jonathan Turley, it's always a pleasure to have you on.
Thank you, Harris.
Harris Faulkner, I believe, is her name. There's a bit of an article here. It doesn't look like there's going to be much besides what he already said. I'm not going to read to you his words. We already heard them. He brought up the great point that I think it was Sanglant said that they tried to do the plea deal, but the judge threw it out. They actually reworked it from what I understood, and they were going to try to essentially kind of have a lot of the same stuff in it, but a little bit more palatable to the judge. And at that point, I think at one point Hunter or his counsel stood up and said, "It's deals off. Then fine, we're not doing it." It was a little bit dramatic from what I read, but yeah, they talked about doing those hearings, and if you saw me roll my eyes, I'm sure you guys were rolling your eyes as well. Oh, they're going to have hearings to pull these prosecutors that are literally targeting Trump. They're going to grandstand. The people at the up on the podium, they're going to pound the table and they're going to be all passionate. And he called it I would call it a re-session, essentially. Speaking of, there is a re-emote available for, I think, everybody. I don't think it's a subscriber-only emote. The Pepe reing is something available to everybody. I don't know if it's on mobile, though. I think it might only be either through the browser or, if you're on your computer. So I can't find it on my mobile, but... All right. Very good. Just had a little text I had to look at. Yeah. Hey, Robert Paul Perez, thank you so much for taking the extra effort to like the stream. Appreciate you, bud. Hey, heck yeah, man. And McGroin Nation. If you guys haven't checked it out, McGroin Nation that's MAGROIN on Rumble. It is worth checking out. Kind of a little town square. They have a live stream going, I think 24/7. Sometimes there's music, sometimes there's not. Just a friendly group of folks. They also have a Discord. All right, man. Appreciate you. You have a good one, man. But yeah. Let's see. Yeah, they're gonna you're gonna bring Bragg before the committees, and they're gonna grandstand, and they're gonna hoot and holler, and Bragg and the other prosecutors are gonna be righteous about what they're doing, and they're gonna act like they're completely act like they're completely in the right in what they're doing. And it's not right what they've been doing. They have been absolutely persecuting President Trump, and we see it for what it is. So is anything really going to be done with those hearings? Probably not. They recently held Merrick Garland in contempt. So is he going to end up going to prison like Navarro? Is he going to have to go to report to prison like Bannon may have to? No, because who's going to enforce the contempt? The Attorney General, Merrick Garland. Is he going to hold himself in contempt? Do a little liar, I hold myself in contempt. No, he's not. He's not. He's going to disregard it, just as he disregarded the requests for the tapes from her interviews with Biden, because Biden probably looks god-awful in those interviews. He probably didn't have his special juice that gets him all amped up and ready to go. Some of the recent stuff that we're seeing from Biden, I don't know how I don't know how the debates are going to happen. My biggest thing is Trump, shut up and let Biden hang himself metaphorically. Metaphorically fed, boys. Let Biden take all the rope he needs. And it will go well for Trump if he does that. If he comes in hardcore, it's not going to look good because it's going to look like you're beating up on an old feller. Even though they ain't that far apart in age, it's going to look bad. Hopefully Trump keeps that in mind. He is looking at jail time. Hunter is looking at jail time, and he deserves jail time. If everybody else is going to get it, then he should as well. He should absolutely face this, the consequences of his actions. I want him to face the consequences of the other actions, the other illegal things that he's done. He's got there's a slew. There's a slew of things that Hunter's been up to. He's done some truly horrific things from what was in that laptop. And the laptop it's been entered into court as evidence. The laptop was real. Those 51 agents are traitors. They committed treason against this country, and there's a damn consequence for treason, and they need to face it. After, trial, of course. But they absolutely need to face it. Despicable that they would come out and say it's Russian disinformation. There's been such a hard cope from the recent, it being the laptop being officially, even more officially than it already was, confirmed to be actual and real, that they literally did the mental gymnastics. It was fascinating to read it. If I would have bookmarked it, I would pull it up and show you. But somebody essentially was saying that, yes, even though it's real, the fact that it got released and the chain of custody, that's the one that they love to say, the chain of custody, that was the big issue. No, it's not. It's not the biggest issue. The biggest issue is the corruption. The biggest issue would be the crimes that took place that are on the laptop. But the thing is, that's a lie. Them talking about Russia's the one that provided it to somebody. Or the Mackey. I think Isaac Mackey, maybe. I think that's his name. The owner of the laptop repair shop. They were trying to say that he was a Russian plant or influenced by Russian agents to give that to Giuliani, and Costello, I believe, is who he gave the laptop to. The FBI has had that laptop, and they haven't done anything about it. What does that tell you about the FBI? There's some very young individuals. There's some young individuals on that laptop. There's some horrific stuff. I haven't read through all of it. I haven't watched practically any of it. I just see a snippet and then I'm like, oh, nope, not watching it, not doing it, not exposing myself to that crap. Oh, and of course, President Biden says that he's very proud. So here's a quote from Joe Biden. With regard to the question regarding the family, I'm extremely proud of my son, Hunter. He has overcome an addiction. He has. I mean, come on, man. Really, for not joking. No joke. He's one of the brightest and most decent men I know, and I'm satisfied that I'm not going to do anything. I said I'd abide by the jury decision. I will do that, and I will not pardon him. Biden responded. Yeah, that's the quote from President. See you, Yanni Fangs. Appreciate you hanging out, man. That is the quote from Joe Biden about and good God, I'm going to go and share this really quick. These groveling, just despicable little slimy slugs, the media. I'll say media. I'm tired of saying. I have friends that work for media, and I would delineate between the corporate media and the media. It seems like it's all the damn same at this point. It seems like it's this. It doesn't matter. So let's see. Oh, this doesn't have to do with. So he's extremely proud of him. Will not pardon him. So after they got done with their G7 stuff, he had opened it up for questions. He actually took questions. Oh man. But he said this right here. Let me pull it up. My little picture's in the way there. But this is how the media started off. This reporter started this in the most bitch-made way, softest way. You're going through something that so many American families go through, the interaction of addiction and the criminal justice system. But you're not like most families. Was your son able to get a fair trial? Do you believe the Justice Department operated independently of politics, the reporter asked? And that's when Biden followed up with his response. Ugh, goodness, that is just the groveling that reporter did in that question. Just, oh, you poor family. Oh, you faced consequences of your actions. How terrible. Yeah, no. Biden says he isn't going to pardon him or commute his sentence. We'll see, I suppose. We shall see. Something Biden should do is maybe present himself a little bit more robustly to the rest of the world. A little bit more backbone, let's say. Because right now, the rest of the world sees that we are nothing but a paper tiger. That's all we are right now to the rest of the world. And Russia went ahead and just called our freaking bluff, and they are sticking their thumb in the eye of this administration. They're flexing. They are flexing pretty damn hard right now in Cuba. We have the Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0. And, let's hope maybe Magneto can show up again and stop all the warheads from hitting. If you haven't seen X-Men First Class, I know a lot of people hate it. I thought it was okay. But yeah, that's a scene from the X-Men First Class, I think, when he stops all the torpedoes to prevent World War III from kicking off. The Russians have sent warships. And I've got a BBC article to look through with you guys. And just check this headline out and tell me how seriously you take this article with a headline like that. Russia warships in Cuba are no threat, U.S. says. You kidding me? Are you kidding me? The Russian warships, including a nuclear sub. I think there's 2 ships and a sub. I think. Or maybe 1 ship and a sub. They have nuclear-capable warheads, from what I understand. It's like they're trying to do a Jedi mind trick. The Russians are not a danger to you. These warships, they're not a threat to you. These are not the droids you're looking for. No, don't fall for it. Absolutely not. You should be concerned. I'm not saying freak out. I'm not saying, lose your mind about it, but this is of concern. This is absolutely of concern. Although the people there seem pretty happy about it. They don't seem too worried. Maybe the Russians are waving too. Who knows? So, U.S. officials have played down Wednesday's arrival of 4 Russian naval vessels in Cuba for military drills. Military drills. What are we talking? Sanglant, what are we talking about pegging for? Is it because it's Pride Month? Is that why we're talking about pegging? I don't know. But anyways, the visit of the vessels, which include a nuclear-powered submarine and a frigate, have been seen as a show of force amid Moscow's tensions with the West over the war in Ukraine. They are anchored at the Havana Bay, some 90 miles, or 145 kilometers for the foreigners, from the U.S. state of Florida. We, of course, take it seriously, but these exercises don't pose a threat to the United States, the Pentagon said. Sure, Pentagon. Sure. Not like you guys have ever lied. No. Thing is, if they really wanted full-on war to pop off, they would go ahead and let something happen, or they would go ahead and say that they've got nuclear warheads armed and pointed at our country. If they really wanted it to happen, they would go ahead and probably fluff it a little bit. They are downplaying it. So the Russian moves were consistent with routine naval visits that we've seen under different administrations. Press Secretary Sabrina Singh added, "Sure." Russia's defense ministry says the Admiral Gorshkov frigate and the Kazan submarine are both carriers of advanced weapons, including hypersonic missiles Zircon. They earlier conducted missile drills in the Atlantic. They have hypersonic missiles. I mean, you don't need them that close, but they're there. Well, and if they're hypersonic, then that means our defenses are pretty much useless from what I understand. Keep in mind, guys, anything with the military, you're at least 15 years behind what, as far as what we see, we're at least 15 years behind what they actually have. So maybe they do have something that could counter it. I don't know. What the fuck? Sorry. What is going on? Tim pulls gay music. What is the meaning of this? What is the meaning of this? From what? Oh man, that was good. That was a good laugh. Begging me, Putin. That was a good one, Tim pulls gay music. I think Sangland inspired that. Let's see here. Back to this article. So Cuba's foreign ministry says none of the vessels has nuclear arms on board. So they're saying they don't. They're saying they don't. And their 5-day visit does not pose a threat to the region. U.S. officials say they are closely monitoring the visit. The U.S. Navy also used sea drones to shadow the Russian vessels as they got close to Cuba, BBC's U.S. partner CBS reports. We're not playing the video. Early on a gray and overcast morning, the Russian vessels entered Havana Bay, flanked by smaller support vessels, to a 21-gun salute. In a statement, Russia's defense minister said that the visit was unofficial, allowing the vessel's crews to rest and get acquainted with local attractions. Russia has sent warships to Cuba in the past, and the two nations are long-standing allies, but the timing of these particular exercises stands out. Coming amid growing tensions over Russia's full-scale invasion of Ukraine in 2022, the operation is being interpreted by some as saber-rattling by Moscow. Yes, that is what it is. Absolutely saber-rattling. Sangland, I don't know, man. He thinks that we can still hit them before they get up to speed. Maybe. I haven't done enough research into it to I guess, have a fully informed opinion on our defense capabilities when it comes to hypersonic missiles at closer range. I guess it does make sense that they would take a minute to get up to fully up to speed, but it's a good point there, Sangland. So, all right. Certainly, it appears to send a pretty clear message from the Kremlin to Washington about what they consider to be meddling in their backyard, which we are. The visit is an important symbol of support to the communist-run government in Cuba and its socialist ally, Venezuela, where the warships may sail to next after they finish in Havana. In essence, while the visit may be considered broadly routine, the context of wider global hostilities in which it is taking place is anything but. I'll agree with that. That wasn't too bad of an article from the BBC. That was relatively level-headed and except this. I mean, that headline is absurd, but it's what they're just saying what they said. So. So apparently InfoWars has a video on the missiles they brag about. I hope you're wrong, man. And I hope, even though, was it Alex Jones saying this? Because let's face it, Alex Jones has been right about a whole lot of things recently, and honestly throughout his history. So, God, I hope that's wrong. I really do. Because they're close enough with a hypersonic missile, they could hit some stuff. They could hit a lot of things. They don't have to necessarily keep it on the East Coast either. They could be aiming for something, more in the middle of the country. Military bases all throughout the country. Who knows? Let's hope not. But right now, Greg Reese has good stuff. I like listening to him. A bit hyperbolic at times, but it's deserved. His hyperbole is well placed. The current administration is to blame for this. I cannot say anything other than that. If we had a strong administration, if the rest of the world viewed America as someone not to be trifled with, we wouldn't be seeing this right now. We wouldn't be seeing this nonsense. If the rest of the world respected us, there would be no ongoing conflicts. I think there are like 3 or 4 right now going on that we're directly involved in. They say we don't have troops on the ground in Ukraine. That's a lie. That's an absolute lie. They say, oh, we're just training. Oh, we're just providing material support. You're saying the thing while saying you're not saying the thing, while saying you're not doing it. You're like, oh, well, we're doing this, but it's not this. Yeah, it is. It's pretty much the same thing. You just don't have it official yet. Like I said, we're essentially in World War III. We just haven't called it that yet. I think eventually, if it continues to escalate and things do pop off, and you end up with, I don't know if we're gonna have traditional warfare like we used to. So that makes it tricky to actually define what World War III would look like. I think it's referred to as fifth generational warfare. That a lot of it is honestly propaganda and tech. So you're gonna have drones, you're gonna have cyber attacks. So are you really gonna know? Are you really gonna know when we're actually in an official World War III? Unless you're looking back on it with hindsight. Like I said, if you read through the history of World War II and World War I, and you compare it to some of the things that have been happening in present time, the parallels are profound. Speaking of, I think speaking of strength and having a backbone and being a solid representative of our country, Biden at the G7 summit was looking at, I guess, someone parachuting in. I actually might try to find that really quick. Give me a moment here. Oh my. We're getting into the behind the scenes stuff here. Good Lord, if I can actually type for a second. My keyboard is USB, so it sometimes doesn't pick up on my keyboard strokes if I'm too quick. Here we go. Found it. It popped right up for me. Gosh, I do love X. I'm not going to lie. It is so effective as far as like news or clips. You just type in a little search and it's right there for you. Let's when you type in Biden wanders off on X, guys, check this out. Let's see. Well, let me scroll real quick before I see anything crazy to make sure I don't see anything crazy, because X tends to be a little bit spicy at times. All right, we only have a couple here, so I'll go ahead and pull this up real quick. Oh, God. There we go. All right, so at the G7, Biden was watching a guy parachute in, and let's watch here. So the guy landed, parachute lands, and then where's Joe going? Where you going, Joe? Joe, where are you going? Oh no, he's not even paying attention to the guy who was parachuting. He's talking to the guy on the ground, and he's literally being corralled. Who is that woman? Was she another leader? Oh, they got a pose. Okay. And slowly, awkwardly puts on his sunglasses. With the cornholio. He's got the cornholio. He needs TP. Walks around like this. Shimmy in. What's up, Julian? Appreciate you, bud. And whoever is watching on YouTube, thank you so much. Hopefully you don't run away as soon as I say something about you. I don't have many followers on YouTube. If you do want to follow me there, same username. If not, I'm not really trying to build that platform, to be honest. I just happen to be dual streaming, here on X and on YouTube. Every viewer counts, so I do appreciate you. Yeah. There's Biden wandering off, then having to be corralled. Oh, the next Jill could be the next Jill. It's an interesting point. But when you type in Biden wanders off, there's that one. And then this one from, back in 2023. Dude just took off. Started wandering from the podium. This has been happening. This has been happening. Good God. They know. The rest of the country sees this, and the rest of the country knows. We are absolutely in a bad place in this country when you have an invalid. We have an invalid at the helm, okay? And do I believe that he's actually the one making the damn choices, making the decisions? No, probably not. But the man's evil enough that he might be shining us a little bit with this old man, this weak old man approach. Maybe he actually does have a little bit of lucidity in behind the scenes. Apparently, he likes to call people pig something and a bunch of other vile curses when he's mad at them in the White House. They actually, I think it was CNN actually, excuse me, they had a piece about him being just cruel to staffers and interns and stuff like that. Just a horrible person to him. Someone did something slightly wrong and he'd call him, pig Rick, and just heinous stuff. Not a nice guy. He's not a nice guy. They keep talking about he's sweet old Uncle Joe. Not even. And the fact that he was so, if he is indeed as much of an invalid as he presents, the fact that he was so damn corrupt and evil in his lucid state makes it so that I really don't feel sorry for the guy at this point. I don't feel sorry for him if he is in fact losing it. And he appears to be. And if he's acting, man, he's a damn good actor. We need to give him some awards for that. But this current administration is leading us to World War III. And things are going to pop off. Hopefully they don't, but I have a feeling things are going to pop off. Hopefully we have enough people that'll stand up and say no. Hopefully we have enough people that'll say, you know what? This isn't all right. This is not all right. We deserve better. But one thing I don't want people to do is don't fall for the freaking psyop. Don't fall for the damn Fed boys saying stuff like, I don't know, we got to go into the Capitol. Don't fall for that. Don't fall for that. There's been some interesting stuff come out recently about Certification Day 2021. That's what I refer to it as because I don't want to be part of the propaganda. I know you got to kind of refer to it as J6 or January 6th. Wow, I got 4 people watching on YouTube. Holy crap. Thanks, guys. I appreciate y'all. I might actually need to bring my YouTube up. I don't even give the YouTubes any attention. I usually just focus on Rumble. But if I've got people in the YouTube chat saying hi, then hello. Thank you so much for joining. Like and follow if you haven't already. Goodness, what did I pull up here? Let me see. Oh, well, it's not pulling up. But for those of you that are on YouTube, the few that showed up, thank you so much. I do appreciate you. For everybody here on Rumble, this is the main place where I am kind of I guess you would consider this my streaming stomping grounds, Rumble. It's a free speech platform. I want to support the free speech platform. While I do stream, YouTube is asshole. That is right, Temple's Gay Music. I agree. But oh, that is coming from Julian. So Julian, I think, is the one watching on YouTube because I think that the way the chat indicates it, there's a little red YouTube button in the Rumble studio. Well, that's fascinating. Well, Julian, if you're watching on YouTube, I appreciate you, man. Thank you. Let's see. So also said prime. Oh, okay. So that woman was the Prime Minister of Italy, Meloni, which she was the one that came out super based and was talking about essentially pushing back on all the liberal bigotry, we'll say. And we're not at 2 hours yet, but I do want to stay. If I do have a chance of, I guess, growing anything on YouTube, it might be a decent idea. I'm not gonna censor myself. If I feel the urge to throw out the bundle of sticks word, I will. Didn't really feel right at that point, but If I want to, I will, though. I'm not going to censor myself. I'm not. I'm going to say what I want to say because I believe in free speech. But like I said, I don't want to see the stuff with the 6th, the certification day 2021 happening again. We have new video from certification day 2021. Oh, now I'm on FDM. Now you're on both of them. Thanks, Julian. You're awesome, man. Let's see. So Pelosi had a video come out recently, and I thought I had that pulled up, but now it is hiding from me. Where did it go? There it is. Okay, I found it. So Pelosi is on tape. So Trump has said over and over again that he tried to get 10,000 troops to the Capitol, and Pelosi said no. Pelosi had her daughter or granddaughter, I can't remember which one, with her on certification day 2021. That's not suspicious at all. That's just a coincidence, guys. It's not like they anticipated something popping off. Not like they were going to go ahead and make it so that the security was extra lax that day. Not like they were literally going to go ahead and start shooting off crowd dispersal tactics into a peaceful crowd that wasn't actually violent. Not like they're literally on a camera with the body cam saying that, oh, there's a couple rebel rousers, but if we start to shoot off stuff into the crowd, that's going to get everybody angry. And then they went and did it. So they knew it was going to happen. They did it anyways. I'm thinking that they were told to do so. The certification day 2021 popped off because it was facilitated by the feds. If you don't acknowledge that at this point, you're either an idiot or you just haven't looked. And then if you haven't looked, you're still an idiot. Look at it. It's like the Bird Box meme. Look at it. But so Tim pulls game music. Oh hell, Bill needs a YouTube dump button. I don't even know how you would set that up. But yeah. The Pelosi is taking accountability on certification day 2021. She took accountability for what was going on, apparently. Let's pull it up real quick and see. It's a very short clip, but it's impactful. Who's snag? I think Julian was meaning sang for Sangland. Let's see. Pull him up here. All right, let's see what Miss Pelosi. What does Miss Pelosi have to say? Oh.
They don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more. We have responsibility, Terry. We did not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have. This is ridiculous. We
Did y'all hear
have
that?
responsibility, Terry. We did
Come on, Terry.
not have any accountability for what was going on there, and we should have.
Huh.
This is ridiculous.
Huh.
You're going to ask me in the middle of the thing when they've already breached the inaugural stuff that should we call the Capitol Police? I mean, the National Guard? Why weren't the National Guard there to begin with?
They thought that they had sufficient
No,
resources.
that is not a question of how they have, but they don't know. They clearly didn't know, and I take responsibility for not having them just prepare for more. We have responsibility, Terry.
Huh. Did you all hear that? Did you hear that? She just said she takes responsibility for it. Oh, gosh. There we go. Got it. So, yeah, there was that. It looks like Nancy Pelosi, as horrific harpy as though she may be, in that moment right there on film, and they fought to keep that from getting out. You guys know that, right? They fought to keep that from getting out. She's admitting that they didn't do more. She knew she did. But she said no. because they did everything they could to make it so that it would be more vicious or more scary, so that they could do everything they can to, hype it up. All right. Oh, shoot. Yeah. She, you barely heard her mumbling through it. Sorry if that was a little bit low, guys, but she did say it. She said she takes account that we have accountability. I take responsibility. That's what she said. So was that in the J6 hearings? Bannon is going to be held in prison because he was held in contempt. And unless he gets his appeal goes through, for not divulging privileged information to the January 6th committee. The January 6th committee was invalid. They didn't have the correct number of Republicans and Democrats. The Republicans they had on there, you can't even call them Republicans. You had, I think, Liz Cheney and Kinzinger, that freaking fairy. Kinzinger is one of the most pathetic individuals I think I've ever seen on the public stage. He's even worse. He's even worse than old watermelon head Adam Schiff. Honestly, he's worse. And it's partially because he tries to put on the tough guy facade. He's got Slava Ukraini in his on his X. And I haven't muted him because every now and then I like to just say mean things. Gets it out, gets the cathartic release. It helps me deal with life. So let's see. So should I realize that it? I don't know if Mitt Romney was on that or not. I don't remember if Mitt Romney was on that committee. They didn't have legitimate subpoena power anyways. That whole thing was a damn farce. We all know that. But there are a lot of people who thought that was legitimate. There are a lot of people that don't know as much, that aren't as engaged as political junkies like myself. They don't know how twisted that was. A lot of people, just normal folks, don't know how messed up the prosecution was in that New York trial. They think, oh, he's a felon, we can't vote for him because he's a felon. Pay attention, people. And that's the thing. Like I've said before, guys, here's the white pill aspect of this. We can take and we can actually talk to people. We can actually have conversations, and it is worth it. It is worth having conversation. It is worth there. For the longest, people said you don't talk politics, you don't talk religion. Where has that gotten us? Where's that gotten us? This has gotten us to a point where so many people can't even stand the thought of being challenged even in the slightest. Oh, it's hurting my feelings. Oh, it's hurting my sense of self. Good. I'm glad your feelings are hurt. I'm glad you're challenging yourself. I'm glad that it's challenging your preconceived notions of the world. That's the way it should be, and that's how you grow as a person. We have a bunch of underdeveloped twat bags, honestly. That's what we've ended up with. Underdeveloped twat bags when it comes to being able to converse with somebody who disagrees with you. I went to a wedding over the weekend, and it's literally one of my best friends from high school. Literal Bernie bro. But he's one of my best friends, and he can't talk politics with me. It was one of the saddest responses I've ever had to a political discussion or a discussion of differing opinions. He literally said, well, anytime I present an opinion or present a article or information, you find a way to chip away at it, or you find the issues with that information or the issue with that article or the issue with my opinion or stance. And I'm like, well, yeah, that's how a conversation with differing opinions is going to go. I'm going to challenge you. I'm not just going to say, oh yeah, seal clap, you're right. If your source is shit, I'm going to tell you your source is shit. If your opinion is uninformed, I'm going to let you know that your opinion is uninformed. If we're having a discussion as adults back and forth about some serious topics, that's what you're going to that's what you should expect. But it was one of the saddest things. But like I said, he's one of my best friends. So we don't get to hang out very much because, well, we're adults. And when you have families, you don't get to hang out with your friends all the time. But he got married to a woman He got married to a woman. Temple's game music. I'm really happy for him. It was a good time. We had a great time dancing and stuff. I haven't danced in a while. It was a good time. There was alcohol. Had some vodka sunrises. I don't do tequila sunrises. I don't like tequila sunrises. I switch it out with vodka, and it is just one of my favorite drinks. Get down to that grenadine there towards the bottom. It's lovely. I'm not much for alcohol, to be honest. I mean, I'll drink every now and then, but I like the fruity stuff. You know, you give me a drink with a colorful umbrella and pretty colors, and I'm gonna be your friend. I like that. I like the good tasting stuff. But and Woodford Reserve. That's a good sipping whiskey. I like that. I've got some Tullamore Dew whiskey for just for St. Patrick's Day. I only crack it open on St. Patrick's Day because it's an Irish whiskey, so at least I'm pretty sure it is. But yeah, Pelosi took accountability, guys. Finally, maybe we can take some of this blame off of Trump. But she called it revisionist history to say that she took accountability for not having the National Guard there. It's on tape. Your family recorded you saying it, you dummy. These dinosaurs. She might have honestly forgot she said it. She might honestly think she didn't say it. It's possible. I really don't want to see things pop off again and people get caught up. There's so many people that are political prisoners right now for Certification Day 2021. The people who were really responsible, they're not being held accountable. They still haven't found the quote unquote the pipe bomb guy. And if you look into that one, the pipe bombs that were left at both the RNC and the DNC, usually, and this is how they've got a lot of these Certification Day 2021 protesters / some of them were rioting. How they got them caught up? Their phone data, their geolocation. The guy that dropped off those pipe bombs, just conveniently, guys, just a coincidence. Don't you take that tinfoil hat off right now, y'all. Conveniently, during the time that those duffel bags were placed, the data for those areas dropped. The geolocation capabilities in those areas just stopped. That's a coincidence. That's a coincidence, guys. Fuck off with that. Absolutely not a coincidence. It's absolutely not a coincidence. You know what y'all did. And I pray at some point you're held accountable. I don't know if it's going to be in this life, but hopefully at some point. It's getting tiresome. But we're on the upswing, guys. We are. Yanni Fangs. I've been known to drink from time to time almost as much as Pelosi. Talking about Paul? Well, I hope you're not drinking as much as Paul. You end up getting hammered. Getting hammered pretty good. Pelosi, Nancy is she's I've heard she can put it away for sure. But yeah, the cell towers fell asleep. Yeah, exactly, Sanglant. That had to have been what it was. Those cell towers, they just took a little nap, a little nappy poo. That's what they did. Crazy. So the cell towers offed themselves. Yeah. Did they have information that would lead to the arrest of Hillary Clinton? Who knows? All right. So the next topic, we talked about the corruption with the 6th just now, Certification Day 2021. Down in Fulton County, we've got some more corruption. The case of Young Thug. He is a rapper. The Utes, they like him. I couldn't tell you if I've heard his music. Maybe I have. Don't know. His defense attorney was an absolute Chad in his response to this judge. And apparently the judge was a general. And so he comes, I guess, from that perspective of when I say something, you do it. Well, you're a judge, but that doesn't mean that you are more that doesn't, you're still a citizen and you still have laws and you still have procedures and standards to adhere to. Your black robes don't mean shit, buddy. They don't. The corruption that you display in this back and forth, I don't think I have the whole clip, but I do have, actually, I got a good clip from the Ashley Mercanti, which she was in the Fannie Willis case when they were discussing, she was front and center with the Fannie Willis and, what's his name? Harrison? No. I forgot. There were a bunch of funny videos that came out associated. Nathan Wade. So Fannie Willis and Nathan Wade, they had their, their fling that they were together for a while, and the conflict of interests that were present with that, and there was a big kerfuffle about that one. But this Brian Steele, he is the all right. So Brian Steele is the attorney for Young Thug. And apparently there was an ex parte, which I guess means it's Latin for something, I guess like essentially like off to the side or off the record or out of the court. Yeah, generals get drunk on their power too. That's right, Yanni Fangs. It can be a really, really negative thing. Power corrupts, and yeah, sadly, it's human nature when they get power to start to skirt the rules. Unless you have some really solid folks and you have a really good team of people around you that are going to keep you level-headed. A lot of people get too big for their britches. And this judge clearly got too big for his britches, because he, the prosecutor, and I guess a witness for the defense had a meeting, and they straight up tried to coerce the witness into doing what they wanted, and like threatened them with time, like longer time, I think threatened them with detention. Not okay. And the defense attorney should have been present for that. And they bring that up. So let's go ahead and take a look at this. I'm not exactly sure what point in the back and forth. This might have been the time where the judge actually holds the defense attorney in contempt, and has him take off his suit jacket and everything. And it's disturbing to see what this judge is just completely comfortable doing. But like I said, this is our fun. This is our not lighthearted necessarily, but this is our bright spot of the stream. I'm ending these streams on a bright spot. While I may rant about the corruption involved in this, we have a white pill with this. And it is the fact that somebody stood up to a judge and said, go screw yourself. You're not going to tell me to break ethics. You're not going to tell me to divulge information that would compromise my career as a lawyer, and you should be ashamed, judge, for doing so. Apparently, I think I have an article. No. But apparently, the Supreme Court of Georgia, and this is out of Fulton County, so same area that the Fannie Willis thing was going on. The Supreme Court stayed the contempt. This judge was going to hold this defense attorney in contempt and sentence him to 20 days, I believe, 20 days in prison or jail. He was going to have him serve it on the weekends. So 2 here for 10 weekends. So 2 here, 2 here, 2 here. And Ashley Mercanti, I think, is like the president of the Defense Attorneys Association or something there in Georgia. And we're going to watch hers here in a minute, but right now we're going to play this one.
You can go ahead and make your record.
Or anyway, this is a record. This is important.
Okay, but it's your allegation and assertion, sir. Okay, so, well, we don't know that. We don't know whether or not they're true.
Going on. Every time Mr. Copeland comes in the courtroom or out of court, he's escorted by a DA's office investigator. You see that? This court is observing. You're not just sitting there in a cloud. You see exactly what's going on. You hear the prosecutor tell you, we were in a room with Mr. Copeland and he said these things. Why?
Okay.
Why do I have to bring up? You should be bringing up. This is crazy. This is like communist Russia. Mr. Williams is having the worst trial. So I am moving again to stop intimidating the witness by the prosecution, leave people alone, and stop accusing You've allowed the prosecutor Love to accuse me of misconduct.
Oh, but you've also accused her of shop, so you can go ahead and make.
Yeah, they got spicy. I actually hadn't seen that clip before, so that was pretty dang. That was pretty fire right there. Yeah, they got pretty contentious going back and forth. The judge deserves every bit of ire from that defense attorney, because that defense attorney is doing his damn job and trying to actually protect his client. The judges and prosecutors seem to be on the same team. It's not okay, because you have the presumption of innocence. It seems like they forgot that. And I think a lot of it is because judges oftentimes were prosecutors in the past. So they have a they have a kinship with the current prosecutors. And they will get up to some shenanigans. And this judge got caught. This judge got caught with the corruption and is more offended by the fact that he got caught than the fact that he was corrupt. And that's not the problem to him. The problem to him is that he was put on blast for it. The problem for him is that it was, light was shed upon his nefarious actions. Kind of like how they did to Trump with Ukraine. How dare you go to uncover the corruption? We will prosecute you. We will throw you in prison. We will impeach you for daring to speak out against the corruption. You better not. You better let it continue. Nope. Let's go ahead and look at Ashley Mercanti. I think that's how you pronounce her name. Merchant. My bad. So she is a Spitfire. I want to bring her up. She's Ashley Merchant. She's a good looking woman. I'll give her that. And she came in ready to go with this judge.
And or hinder, obstruct the orderly process of the administration of justice. The preservation of order and decorum of the court is exempt from due process requirements of notice and hearing. That's even Moody, goes back to 1974. So I believe that Mr. Steele, he can file whatever motions, but his particular actions in this case, I just want to know who told him this. That's all. I'm not asking him to release or otherwise tell any conversations, but I just want him to tell me that.
And Judge, so that's what you want, but that does not conflate to a contempt. Your desire for him to answer your question does not mean that you have the power to hold him in contempt. So you can come into court, Mr. Merchant, and not answer a question of the court and not be held in contempt? If it's a question that the court is not permitted to ask, yes. Okay.
Right there. He's literally, it's so foreign to him. It is so foreign to this judge that he could dare be questioned, that anyone would dare step up and go, you know what? No, you're actually violating the ethics. You're actually breaking the law right now, Judge. He is so put aback by that. And that right there is a clear indication of how the system is bastardized to such an extent that honestly, the legal system, guys, I don't see how anybody has faith in the legal system right now. We've had a couple wins here and there as far as like objective legal remedy. Rittenhouse, for instance. I guess Hunter Biden, technically, I've given my stance on that, but this is
this is a question the court's permitted to ask.
And it's our position, if we had a hearing, we could explain to the court why he is not required. First of all, the court accused him of eavesdropping. That is a crime. He has a Fifth Amendment privilege against answering those questions. Rule 1.6 protects all confidential information that is gained not from your client, but in representation of your client. He has the ability to protect that information. But we don't even need to get there, because he can't be held in contempt, and you can't threaten him with contempt for presenting a motion in good faith. He presented a motion in good faith that he believed there were ex parte communications. You are a witness to that, because it's my understanding that you were part of those ex parte communications. They can't be ex parte if you weren't part of them, by nature.
Okay. Well,
you have to be involved. Therefore, you have to be a witness. So you are a witness. You cannot also.
But you got the information.
I like her energy. Gosh dang, she's moving back and forth, taking a step back. It's like she's in a fight. It's verbal, but it's like she's in a fist fight, going back and forth. I love it. Gosh, yeah.
Here's the thing.
Get after it, girl.
You got the information allegedly from an improper methodology. I'm not saying that he eavesdropped. Okay, I said that one of the things that.
Ooh, that right there. He said the information, how you got the information was from an improper methodology. So the fact that the corruption, that's not the concerning part to him. That's not the part that should be on blast. That's not the part that should be the issue. The fact is somebody actually uncovered it, and he doesn't like how it was uncovered. As far as I'm concerned, as long as you're not hurting somebody, I don't care what actions people take to uncover the corruption and root this out, root this evil, this demonic presence, this the just vile nature of the system. It has to be squashed. It has to be exposed like the vile worm that it is. It has to be exposed. And that's how we fix it, by exposing it, by sunshine. Sunshine is the best disinfectant. You guys have heard that before. This is clearly a case of it. And the Supreme Court put a stay on it. So this judge, he knows he done messed up.
Is one of the things is it's either one of two ways. He either eavesdropped, which I don't believe he did at all. I don't believe that for a minute. But I do believe that somebody did tell him what was the sum and substance of the court's conversations, and that would not be permissible.
Judge, let's just back up for a second. He makes a motion because he has reason to believe that there were ex parte communications made. The court has a duty, if there are ex parte communications made, to alert counsel. He shouldn't have had to learn it from wherever he learned it.
I think that he caused that particular circumstance. I think that he had a conversation with somebody and he got some information that he shouldn't have had to begin with. So, Ms. Merchant, I'm of the opinion I'm going to stand on my ruling at this point in time. I'm going to hold him in contempt. So at this point in time, is there anything else you want to tell me?
Yes, Judge. There's quite a few other things. We would ask.
She said, but wait, there's more.
For you to be recused from this case because you are a witness necessarily. It cannot be an ex parte proceeding without you being a witness to this. So you are a witness to this proceeding. Therefore, yes, to the contempt. To the contempt. You are a witness to the contempt. So you have now, and if it's criminal, which is what you're saying it is, Mr. Steele is entitled to all the same due process rights that Mr. Williams and every other defendant in this courtroom is entitled to. He's entitled to those. One of those is to have a fair and neutral judge decide his case. One of those is to have a judge who is not also a witness in the proceeding deciding whether or not he's in contempt. This needs to be heard by a different judge. And he has the right to subpoena witnesses. He has the right to an attorney. He has the right to due process, notice, a show cause hearing, notice of the alleged violation, whatever.
God, look at her body language, y'all. Like she is a freaking spitfire. This is good stuff. I'm glad that she's a good defense attorney. She's good. Temple's gay music. I feel you, bud. I feel you, man.
A rule it is that the court believes in a hearing where he can call you as a witness. You can testify. You are necessarily a witness. You can't, for it to be ex parte, you have to be a witness. It can't be both ways.
Just checking him.
I'll let an appellate court decide that.
No.
So,
arrogant.
No, we'll file a notice of appeal.
Okay.
And we need to have the order reduced in writing as well.
I'm going to do that right now. I will state for the record at this point in time that Mr. Steele has in fact or has filed, and I will note this as part for the record in this case. He's filed a motion to set aside the contempt. He's filed a motion for a superseded bond, and he's filed a notice of appeal, all of which I will include as the next court's exhibit in order. But I'm reducing the contempt to writing. And I mentioned earlier, he can purge himself of the contempt just by telling me who it was, and he can do that this evening. He can do it right now. He can do it at any point in time. If not, I'll revisit the circumstance on Friday.
And Judge, we would ask that you grant the bond. At this point, criminal contempt, he's got to be sentenced.
Well, his contempt is as long as he when he tells me what the basis of the conversation was, who I didn't ask what, but he tells me that, then I can certainly he purges himself of the contempt.
Then that's civil, Judge.
That's civil contempt.
That's civil.
Judge, and that's respectfully, I would point you to In Re Hughes, which stands for the same point of law. Civil contempt impose punishment as a means of coercing future compliance with the prior order of the court. Here, the prior order of the court presumably is that you have directed Mr. Steele to answer the question, to disclose the information as to who is his source for knowledge of this ex parte meeting that occurred earlier today. Criminal contempt imposes unconditional punishment to punish the act which has occurred in the past and cannot be purged. It is not capable of being purged, in which case what Ms. Merchant said applies, which is that there is a 20-day maximum sentence and $1,000 fine. It is, for all intents and purposes, a misdemeanor offense, Judge, which is why the enhanced due process protections apply.
Come on, get back to Miss Merchant talking. This guy's okay, but he's well, Judge. We got to talk about how it's a violation of his responsibility, Judge. Yeah, I like the Spitfire better.
Now, Mr. Steele has indicated to us he does not believe that he can answer the question without violating his duty of loyalty and duty of confidentiality to his client. So he is being placed in a position where he's either going to jail or he's going to commit an offense that will put his license to practice law at risk. And that is an untenable position to be in. And Mr. Steele is a zealous advocate for his client, and he is simply trying to protect that duty of loyalty and duty of confidentiality, because if he answers your question, it is very reasonable to assume and likely that he will be facing a bar complaint that could result in a suspension or in the loss of his license. And so he's in a very, very difficult position where if we were able to have a full contested hearing with the benefit of witnesses and an impartial judge where you're a witness, then everybody could present their side of the story. And
I'm not doing that. The reason being is because that takes away the whole point of criminal contempt. And that is, you do something, the court tells you to do something, order of the court, and you don't follow it. I didn't ask him to do anything.
The court's order is illegal or unethical, though. Just because the court says it doesn't mean you automatically have to do it if it's breaking the law or if it's breaking ethics. That's where he's just so broken and so freaking corrupt that he can't even process it.
Legal, immoral, unethical. I just asked him to tell me. I know what the privilege is. The privilege is the conversation. I didn't ask him about that. I wanted to ask him about the person.
And
I'm sorry.
Mr. Steele has indicated to us that he does not believe he can answer that question without also violating the privilege.
Okay.
And Judge, that's why we're trying to figure out if it's criminal versus civil. So the issue is you're picking and choosing. You're saying, well, you get the bad side of criminal and no bond, but I really am actually trying to punish you civilly, which is when you hold someone until they comply.
Okay, let me think about it just a second, okay? I'm going
You're going to take 5 minutes. He's going to take 5 minutes, y'all. He's going to think about it. He's going to reconsider how much he just got spanked by Miss Merchant. She just bent him over the bench, and she spanked him. It was beautiful. Beautiful, guys. That was a clear example of somebody who has not really been challenged that often. Somebody who has this false sense of superiority. Somebody who thinks they are above everybody else. And just because your bench happens to be physically above the others doesn't mean you are above them. Doesn't mean that you are doesn't mean that you are able to get away with the corruption that you clearly demonstrated, sir. Clearly you demonstrated excessive corruption in this case. The Brian Steele, that man is going to be in tons of business. We need more defense attorneys to be like that. We need more defense attorneys to be like, Robert Barnes, that actually, get held in contempt or held in contempt for advocating ferociously ferociously advocating for their client. Now, again, I honestly don't really care too much about Young Thug. I don't know if he, I don't know the specifics of the case at all. Maybe if a certain large-nosed lawyer was actually able to stream or was streaming, maybe he could cover some of these things and get specific. But so it's got other things going on. I think Sean, potentially criminal, I think was the first one that I saw this. So while I may have my my issues with how he handled some things recently, the dude's still got some interesting perspectives on cases, and he's, I think, the first one that I saw actually post about this, Brian Steele. So the Supreme Court, the good news, the white pill is that people are fighting back. People are pushing back against the corruption. People are pushing back against this stuff, and it's being put on Front Street. Sunshine is the best disinfectant, guys. Eventually, the corruption will die out, but it has to be exposed for what it is. The fact that you have normies even talking about how corrupt things are and how they question the validity of a lot of our system right now. The fact that we have that going on, that we have those conversations going on, I'm having more and more. Every week, I'm having more and more conversations with people that are just like, what? What's really this is going on? Come on now. Come on. And more people that I just throw out a little tester, a little nibble of something for them. And then they latch onto it. And my goodness, I've had some good conversations with folks. Big Lurch's case. So he'd rather the nose go through the Big Lurch's case. I can't remember which, it was something else. Not sure what you're talking about there, Sanglint. Big Lurch. I'm blanking right now. Can't think of what you might be talking about. But yeah, there's various lawyers that do cover legal things and cases, and they're worth watching, I think. That was good. That is why I ended, I could have found something silly. I could have, just done like the Biden looking at the parachute guy and laughed about that. But that, I think that kind of stuff right there gives me hope. That kind of stuff right there gets me fired up. Seeing somebody push back against the authority that has abused its position. It's inspiring. It is downright inspiring. Good job, Brian Steele. Good job, Ashley Merchant. You guys are doing the right thing by your client. And you're doing the right thing by the law, objective, correctness. You're doing the right thing. So that's why I wanted to end it there. Drugs, mismatch, bite marks. Is that girlfriend? What? Oh, what's up, Salty saying? Dude, glad to see you joining. We're at the tail end of the stream. I don't think I've got, oh man, I did say that I was going to set up the darn, there's an option when you stream to make it so that it's like DVR kind of where you can toggle and rewind it and then, pause it and stuff like that. I said I was going to do that for this stream, but I forgot. My apologies to those who do like to pause it and go do something else. But all right, you've been listening. Good deal, man. Glad to see you here, Salty saying. Yeah, man, I started off pretty tired. I didn't know if I was going to really have much of a stream today, to be honest. But my rant meter went up. We talked about it earlier. He's getting maybe a rant meter to set up right here. I got to figure out. I got to get a little bit more well versed in like video editing and things like that, and doing some cool little effects and things. Like I said, I am going to go ahead and try to get my locals going. I don't know exactly what I need to do with that, but I was tinkering with it earlier, and I've got a lot. I do, got 9 to 5 that I got to do plus family stuff. But I think I'm actually going to be joining Daramuth on a stream. Maybe I don't want to give a date because we're not sure yet. Working with his schedule, working with my schedule. But I think Daramuth was wanting to do a stream with me. Not really sure what we're going to talk about, but I'm sure we'll find something. Okay. Oh, we're talking about cannibalism, rappers. Okay. Salty. Oh, okay. So you had someone see what I made for Graves and asked me to make something for them. Oh, okay. So you're just keeping yourself busy, Salty. Well, good. Hey, at least you're getting. Hope you're getting paid for it. So the things we talked about today. We first talked about the happiest month of the year, Pride Month. We talked about the scooter hate gangs, these vicious gangs of teens burning out on pride murals on the roads. Not like roads get skid marks on them. Not like this thing has been damaged before. They're getting charged $15,000, or no, the bond is $15,000 apparently to cover the costs to fix the mural paint. $15,000. Come on now, a little bit odd. But Jesus, Demon's Wrath. I'll pray for the toilet, Demon's Wrath. Good Lord. Oh, well, hey, Salty, that's cool, man. So we talked about the Pride Month. We talked about the scooters. We then talked about Hunter Biden's guilty verdict, 3 counts, looking at 25 years if he's found, if they do so. Don't know. I don't think he's going to face any time in jail. I really don't. There are far more sinister things that Hunter Biden should be prosecuted for, and it would be nice to actually see that. We then talked about Cuban Missile Crisis 2.0. Russia has sent their 4 vessels. One of them is a nuclear submarine. Apparently, they're just doing a routine exercise, y'all. It's just a routine exercise. Nothing to see here. Nothing to worry about. Everything's fine. Move along here. Everything's okay. All right, they got hypersonic missiles, but okay. Then we talked about, speaking of corruption and stuff like that, leading to the world looking at us as a weak little puppy. We talked about the corruption for the Certification Day 2021, also known as January 6th, or the insurrection. Pelosi is on tape admitting to the fact that she was accountable. She should have been the one to get the guard troops there. She said it. It's on tape. It's there. It's not revisionist history, Nancy. Just accept it. You screwed up. You had your family recording you, and you talked a little bit too much. So we ended on Young Thug, and that was our bright spot, guys. That was our happy. Maybe it wasn't as lighthearted as some of my kind of final stories have been, but I think it was a good thing to have a white pill at the end of the stream, to see the defense fight so ferociously for their client, to see corruption being met with resistance. Even the little bit of standing up and going, no, thank you, I'm good. You can put that to the side. That's important. That's impactful. It's good to see. Okay, so if you guys have not yet, please like the stream, like the channel, follow me here at Billdozer74. I'm also on True Social, Billdozer74. I'm Dozer74 on X. I'm on Gab too. If you play around on Gab, it's a bit Wild West stuff. But here's the awesome thing about it: even if there are Nazis and horrible people and stuff like that on Gab, you have this cool feature where you can block them. So, I'm all over the place. I do, like I said, I do want to start adding a little bit more. If you want to subscribe to my channel, it's $5 a month. You will remove ads from the streams and ads from my videos from the past. I've got 55 or 56 videos total on my Rumble account. And you will get the added feature of custom emotes. I did add some emotes to the for everybody, and I added some subscriber only emotes. I'm going to increase the library for subscriber only. There are going to be hopefully some spicy ones if I can figure out how to get the ones that I want in there. I want to get some animated emotes for the subscribers. So I'm going to tinker with that and try to figure it out. If you ever feel like sending a Rumble rant, no one is expected to, but if you want to do that, more power to you. Like I said, this is something that I do to inform and entertain. Hopefully I have achieved that today. Hopefully I will continue to achieve that. The last stream did exceptionally well. Hopefully we continue to see that. So been having a fun time with it, guys. Thank you guys for watching. You can follow me, like I said, at Billdozer74. thank you guys so much for watching. I think I'm going to go ahead and sign off for tonight. Y'all have a good one.